Let's go to the kitchen now, and Chef Judy has more on today's delights. Judy?
Well, it's always a fun day when Chef Ray from Madison's is in the kitchen. And what are you creating today?
Today I'm doing our it's one of our house specialty desserts. Paul has had this on the menu for years before I even came, and it's a chocolate espresso torte. And it's something we have in all 3 of our restaurants.
You know, you say chocolate and espresso together, I'm totally in. Anything that gives you that mocha flavor I love. And I'm excited because you're going to empower our viewers to be able to make this. So stay with us. We will be back and start baking. And don't forget, I'll tell you about our contest where you could win a $50 gift card to dine at a local restaurant. We'll be back in just a few minutes. And, ooh, I'm excited. My job of melting the butter, I think, is done.
I think you did good.
We'll be right back. Okay, Ray, you have all these beautiful ingredients. Let's get started.
Super, super easy. This is such an easy dessert, and it's so decadent. First thing we're going to do, we get our butter almost to the boiling point. We're going to pour this.
Salted or unsalted? Does
always
it make a difference?
Unsalted. I never, ever use salted butter.
Okay.
Even at home. So we're going to pour that hot butter over the chocolate. We're just going to let that set for a few minutes.
Okay.
And while that's going on, if you want to just start combining, we have that is espresso.
Notice how I grabbed the espresso right away, because that's
And if you don't like coffee, you can omit the espresso and just add a water in its place.
Oh, perfect.
And so if you know, so it works that way. There's some egg yolks, there's whole eggs, some Chambord.
Oh, I love that with that raspberry flavor going in.
Sugar and whole eggs.
And why do you use egg yolks and whole eggs? What's the difference?
It's a texture thing. The egg yolks is like a zabayan. The egg yolks gives it that thickening and that texture that you like. And it's because there's no flour in this. This is totally gluten-free.
This is going to be a really great recipe for so many people, I think. That's the way to do it.
And the trick on this, if you put this onto a KitchenAid or a stand mixer at home, use a paddle, because this recipe doesn't like a lot of air incorporated into it.
Oh, so I have to stop taking out my frustrations on the eggs? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I've had other people try to make this recipe, and they're like, it doesn't work. How come it doesn't work? I'm like, it works fine for me. And then I figured out what they were doing. They were incorporating too much air into the eggs.
And that makes a lot of sense. Now, for the egg whites, go ahead that you're saving from the whole eggs. Put them in the refrigerator, because that's a whole nother recipe for
definitely.
lemon meringue.
Lemon meringue. That's what I have on the special tonight.
Oh,
I made lemon curd, and I have lemon meringue tarts.
I know where I'm going to dinner, for at least for dessert. Okay, so the chocolate really melted down beautifully.
Exactly.
And you're just using the semi-sweet morsels?
I'm using Calabo right now. It's 54%. You have to be careful with some of the chocolate chips, because they're made to stay whole, like in a cookie, and they don't like to melt.
Great. That's another great thing to tell us for a tip.
If I was going to the grocery store, I would probably buy the Ghirardelli blocks, the bars, then chop those up and use that rather than like a Hershey's or a Nestle's.
Perfect to keep in the pantry in case you're making a ganache. Now stay with us. We're coming back, and we are going to get ready to mix it all together, and I'm going to have some dessert. Thanks, Ray.
You're welcome.
Okay, Ray, the chocolate is melted.
The chocolate is melted.
And hopefully I have not aerated the eggs, the egg yolks, the sugar, the espresso too much.
Go ahead and pour your egg mixture right into the chocolate.
Okay, do I have to temper, go slow?
It doesn't really need to temper so much.
Good.
The chocolate really cools that hot butter down enough that it doesn't scramble your eggs.
Okay. My part is done. I'm exhausted.
And do you know what? This is done.
That's it?
That is it. I mean, I tell you, this is so simple.
I have goosebumps, because I have so many friends and relatives that don't eat gluten for various reasons.
Exactly.
This is wonderful, and I like your tip with the Ghirardelli. So what have you, is this butter?
I just buttered some ramekins, and then we're just going to fill it up with our batter. And you can make this batter ahead of time and put it in the refrigerator, and it'll save for a week.
Are you serious? Now, could you also do it instead of individual as one larger one?
You certainly could.
Okay, good to know.
You certainly could. And you can use any container that you'd like.
I love this recipe.
We're going to put these into a shallow baking pan, and we're going to pour some hot water in it, so they're soaking in a water bath.
It's in that bath.
Which is very important, because the centers really needs to cook slowly.
And it almost steams around the edges.
So we're going to bake that at 350 for about 30 minutes. You'll see that as it bakes, there'll be a little dimple in it. As soon as that dimple comes to the surface, they're done.
Look for the dimples.
Exactly.
And we're going to make it just like Chef Ray. And this is what it looks like when it comes out.
Exactly.
So I'm going to bring this over because sometimes plating is very difficult for viewers. So I want to empower them of how easy to get it out of the container, okay?
Perfect. What we do at the restaurant is we toss this in the oven for about 1 minute to 2 minutes just to warm it up because it comes out of the refrigerator and you don't want it to be cold.
So we'll make these the day before in a dinner party, and I see you giving it a shake.
Give it a little shake, and if you have to, just run a thin knife or a little spatula just around the edge. Oops, could you hand me the raspberry?
Absolutely.
We'll put a little raspberry on the plate first.
And you know, you can buy these bottles at a restaurant supply store, even like a Sur La Table, and it really makes a difference. I keep oils in some of mine, and of course, some different sauces. Look at that.
So it's
Look at how moist.
We have a little bit of fresh whipped cream.
Oh, yeah.
Little chocolate
I love
stick.
it. And some raspberries.
And then some fresh raspberries.
You did it again, Ray. Come back in just a few minutes, and it's time for me to taste, and I'll tell you all about our contest. Thanks, Ray.
You're welcome.
Well, Ray, you did it again. You empowered us all to make a restaurant-quality dessert at home. Tell us again the name of the dish.
It's a chocolate espresso torte.
It looks fantastic.
Thank you.
Oh, it's so moist.
It is so moist.
This has no flour, and the raspberry sauce just brings it up. Now, you can get this recipe and watch the video on www.mysuncoast.com. And don't forget to click on and get our newsletter. You can enter to win a $50 gift card to one of our local restaurant partners like Madison's. There's so many to choose from.
They come in and have a dessert.
And have a dessert. I got to stay on this while I send it back to you guys.